Oh, hi leaders. Hey, can you believe it? It's October. We've only got 3 more months left in this year. And believe you me, we're not going to go back and redo this past year. In fact, we're going to focus on moving forward. All right. However, this is the time to start preparing for the upcoming year. All right. Now, I want to give you a practical application and something that I do with all of my clients to kind of help clean up some of this year-end stuff, and let's kind of tighten things up and let's start getting ready for next year. All right. Now, as a business owner or the CEO of any company size, it is on your shoulders that everyone knows specifically what they're accountable for. And you have to have the right structure of the organization. Simply put, you cannot generate 10 million in revenue with an organization that has a structure and a process that is only built for 5 million in revenue, and you can kind of move those numbers around any way you want to. If you're a 3-person organization, you cannot generate 500,000 a year if you're not built for it. So these numbers move, and this process moves based on the size of your organization. Like I said, this is a process. I use this with all of my clients to build out what I call their accountability chart. See, this is an organizational chart built on steroids. Right now, look, every company, all right, whether you're that 3-person organization I mentioned, or you've got 500 employees, you've got to be strong in 3 key areas. All right, now they are called sales, operations, and finance. All right, now I'm not discrediting the visionary, okay, because it's usually the vision and the visionary who starts this business, but I'm talking about what do we got to do to continue moving this business forward. All right, now, very simply, sales, well, brings in the revenue, okay? Operations, or some people call it customer service, this is what produces our product with a consistent outcome. Now, if you're in a service-based business, this ensures how we kind of take care of those customers that sales brings in, all right? Finance is your lifeblood, all right? This is money in, money out. And if you don't take care of the finance, you know what? Your business is just a great idea at some point because it's going to go under without your blood, all right? Now, if you don't think you need to be strong in each of these 3 key areas, let's just take a quick test, all right? Now, let me show you. What if we are really strong in sales, okay? We are weak in customer service or operations, all right? And we're really good at finance. Finance, we know where the cash flow is, we know where all of our money is, we're staying within our budget, reinvesting back into our organization. If we're strong in sales, weak in operations, strong in finance, have you ever heard of the term overpromise, underdeliver? And that's what's happening here. All right, we're bringing in sales, we cannot keep the customers that we're bringing in. Maybe our product is getting negative reviews, it's being returned, you know, and before you know it, this is an organization that cannot sustain itself because we're weak in the one area of taking care of our customers. All right, now let me show you this other one. What if we're great in customer service, horrible in sales? Salespeople, I know, this never happens. It cannot be the sales department's fault. I got you covered. No. All right, if we're great at sales, not very good at customer service, or our product is not good. I apologize. We're good with customer service. We're great with our product, okay, operations. We're very strong in finance. What do we have? We have an organization that is hanging on to their customers. We get a lot of repeat business. Again, finances are in order, but we're weak in sales. This is an organization that's not growing. We're not bringing in additional new revenue, okay? Now, what if we are strong in sales, great in operations, customer service, but we are weak in finance? What happens here? We're running out of money. We don't know where the money is. We can bring customers in, okay? We can really take care of them. They love us. But we don't know where the money is. You ever heard of the term, this organization expanded too quickly, right? Finances were out of control. Now, I'll be honest with you. This last scenario, strong in sales, great product customer service, weak in finance. This is the one that I run across the most with any new organization, and to be completely honest with you, with growing organizations as well. Finances get out of hand. In fact, this last one is what drove me to bring on one of our other advisors, Donna Phoebus, over at Temple Executive Coaching. She is our virtual CFO. She's fantastic at this part. She saved so many organizations, diving in deep, finding out what was the root cause with their financial problem, producing some solutions and putting it in their hands to kind of correct. So this is why we got to be strong in all three of these key areas. Now, when you first start off, usually the individual who starts the business has got to do all three: sales, customer service, finance. But as we start to kind of expand, this is how your organization or your accountability chart should possibly start to grow out. All right. So we go from sales, operations to finance, and then before you know it, the owner of the business has an opportunity to kind of get out from underneath that, and he is now the CEO president. All right. As the organization starts to grow more so, we then bring on a chief operations officer. Okay. Now, I've seen organizations go from the 3 seats to this chart that we have now, where we have our CEO, chief operating officer, marketing and sales. For those of you who are really into this, you know that marketing and sales, 2 different beasts. Operations, depending on your product service, operations, customer service, and finance. So the roles of each of these. Now, where I got these roles in here on each one is not my idea. Each of these roles within the seats came from actual clients during our meetings. I let them determine what it is they want to do. Each seat should be accountable for no more than 4, maybe 5 specific items. You start building it out, you got to start asking yourself, do we need to start looking at another seat to develop for our organization? But this is usually how it starts to kind of unfold. The CEO is accountable for the vision, the culture. They're accountable for making sure the company has a strategy, and they're accountable for leadership communication. That means, are you communicating with all of your leaders within the organization? Are you talking about the vision on a consistent basis? The culture should reflect who the visionary is. The culture is who the visionary is. And strategy, it's on you to start mapping out where this organization is going. Our chief operations officer, they're accountable for ensuring that the strategy is executed. That the company, they're usually making sure that each department has a process and that the company has an overall process itself. A lot of times they'll be in charge of project manager, taking on new assignments, finding out if things are going to be a right fit for the organization. Project manager. Sometimes they work hand in hand with our HR and technology departments as well. Marketing, okay? Marketing are the ones who do the market research. They determine what market channels are going to be used to communicate our message. They're the ones who create awareness. We should be getting so much information back from marketing saying our target audience is now looking at this. They should know the competition better than anyone else within the organization. We should have a lot of dialogue going on with marketing. Sales. Sales closes the opportunities that our marketing partners are bringing to us. They're the ones who follow up on leads. In a perfect world, guys, marketing leads the sales team. In a perfect world, by the time your sales team gets to your niche market, your market will have heard who you are from the marketing team. Operations, these are the ones who produce the product. All right, they're the ones accountable for, I had a warehousing team called product correction. Something goes wrong with the product, operations fixes it. They're in charge of customer service, making sure that our customers are having a wonderful experience that we promised, and they're also in charge of fulfillment orders. Finance, payroll taxes, corporate taxes, company cash flow, budget, where's the money, okay? That is how it usually breaks down. Within each department head, we have LMA. LMA stands for lead, manage, and accountable. You're accountable for that seat. You're accountable for everything that happens within that organization. So we want to make sure that when we have a leader in one of these seats, first of all, they reflect the culture of the organization. They carry the culture with them as well, and they're accountable for lead, manage, and accountability. All right, now, when we build our organizational chart, and if you want to hang around a little bit after this video, I did this to a T, to absolute perfection, and I got fired. All right, I'll explain that if you want to, at the end of the video if you want to watch. But first comes seat, then people. So what we're doing is we're building the organization chart out not only for today, where are we today, but building it into the future. All right, we want to grow into the organizational chart. First, we list what we would want each department to be accountable for. Then we go and we select the best candidate for each of these seats to fit within the seat itself. All right, we don't take someone, well, Bob has always done sales for us, so we're going to build sales around Bob. You can't do that. All right, seat first, people second. Now, when we go through and we decide which individuals best occupy this seat, it has to be one person, not two. You cannot have two people accountable for one seat, because when you have two people accountable for one seat, nobody's accountable for that seat. We want one set of eyes to go to when things are working, when things are, when obstacles are being overcome, wonderful things are happening within that organization, within that department. We need one set of eyes to go to and ask them, what are you doing? What do you know that the rest of us don't know that we need to be educated to? Same time, when things aren't going well, we need one set of eyes to go to and ask them, why are we off track here? What's happening? How can we help you? All right? And if it's not the right person for the right seat, doesn't mean you dismiss them from the company. It means maybe there's another seat that they would fulfill better in. All right? Then the third one, GWC. What GWC means, before you put the person in this seat, do they get it? Do they understand what that seat is accountable for? An example, like I said, marketing and sales, two different mindsets. Marketing creates the message, they see the value, they're able to communicate to the market, they understand the market. Sales is a different beast. They know how to go, and let's be honest, give us your money. Okay, two different beasts altogether, but a marketing person understands that. A sales director understands that, so they get it, all right? The W, do they want it? Do they want to occupy that seat? And here's the thing, if they don't want it, you can't convince them to take it. You cannot offer them more money, because then they will want the money, they won't want the seat, okay? Do they have the physical, mental wherewithal to occupy that seat? Do they want it? When they wake up in the morning, all right, does their brain start firing on some ideas and things they got to get done? They come to you, with different ideas about the seat that they're occupying. I was wondering, what do you think about this? Because based off of what we're supposed to be doing in customer service or product, or production, I was wondering, they got to want that seat, not the money. C is the capacity, okay? The capacity. Do they have the time to honestly fill that seat? I referenced earlier, I may have gotten this part wrong. Capacity, do they have the mental wherewithal to occupy that seat? Is there a lot of stress? There's a lot of stress in sales. All right, so they're accountable for sales. Do they, are they, have the physical wherewithal to occupy a seat that's high pressured? If there's going to be a lot of physical activity, physically, can they withstand that seat? Okay, but they have to GWC. They have to get it. They have to want it. They have to have the capacity to sit in that seat. Now, as this is just kind of the basics of an organizational starting with sales, operations, and finance. And this is how I usually see organizational charts get built out. Now, if you want to from here, look, you can start branching out, and if another seat is required, build that seat. All right. But then again, specifically, what is that seat going to be accountable for? Okay. Now, I told you earlier when I did this to a T. And in the middle of doing this with an organization, they fired me. Okay. I was working with an organization, and I won't give you the name of it. They signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't disclose, but it was funny. In fact, they made, those little toys that go into different, the closest I can describe it is like, I know they didn't have a contract with McDonald's, but those little Happy Meal toys, small trinkets, toys you see at carnivals, dollar store, these sort of things, generating huge amount of income. And they realized, they came to me and said, Mike, we don't know who's doing what, or what we're even supposed to be doing. All right. And it was a father, it was in his two children, a son and the daughter. All right. The father was a little reluctant to call me in. The daughter wanted me to come in, and the son didn't really care one way or the other. All right. So as we were going through this, the dad, of course, was the visionary. So he was the CEO. And we went through this exact process. All right. At the time we were doing this, the daughter was accountable for marketing. Okay. She was accountable for marketing and operations. Now, a side note, you cannot have two people accountable for one seat, but you can have one person accountable for two seats, okay? So I think the daughter at the time was accountable for marketing and operations. The dad was accountable, he was the CEO, the visionary holder. The son was accountable for sales. Now, the way the dad wanted this to play out is that when he retired, he wanted his son, who was in sales, to sit in the CEO seat, and he wanted his daughter to either stay in marketing or maybe be the chief operations officer. But as we were going through this, really strange things started coming to the surface, especially when we got to the get it, want it, capacity to do it. What started coming to the surface is that the son, he did get it, but he didn't want it. And this was starting to make everyone in the room a little uncomfortable. In fact, what started coming to the surface is it was the daughter who was in operations who started to come to the surface that she might be the best person to occupy this seat. So in the process of going through that, and these problems started to come to the surface, the dad turns to me and he says, Mike, we appreciate everything that you've done and your time invested with us, but we think you've probably taken this as far as you can. So we're going to ask you maybe to, stop at this point. I was stunned. The daughter, she got angry. And she said, gosh dang it, Dad. Why do you always do this when things get uncomfortable? The son picked up his telephone like he was really busy, like he didn't hear what was going on. All right? And then, with everyone's uncomfortable face, and there's the dad sitting there like this, looking out the window. Then they all look at me. And I know I'm standing there. And the only thing I could think of was, all right, I'm fired. I get it. But we got to finish this. And uncomfortably, we went through it and we finished it. And as time started going on and we started to explore the want it, the son, very frankly, did not want it. He didn't really want to be in the organization anymore. He wanted to teach history. The daughter, who'd graduated with a degree in English, wanted to be the CEO. The dad eventually saw this and kind of capitulated and let everyone assume the seats that they were accountable for. And once they got the right people in the right seats, it was like this explosion of energy. The organization just started moving forward, accomplishing goals and things that they had never done it before because they had the right people in the right seats who wanted to lead, manage, and were accountable. And that's really the secret of having the right people in the right seats to execute your strategy. Hey guys, I want to thank you so much for listening. I know this ran a little bit longer than we intended, but I'm Mike Temple, Director of Temple Executive Coaching, and as always, appreciate you listening.